Good morning, lovely people who also love charm. And anyone else tuning in to this episode of Throwback Thursdays. My name is Rashad Holloway. I've been a part of Charm since the seventh grade, and I'm a rising senior now. So Charm's been a big part of my life for quite a long time. Um, Today I'm gonna be performing my poem, "The Land of the Loopholes," for you guys. I wrote this poem back in eighth grade, and really the inspiration for it comes from, there was a certain night that my mom decided to sit me down and educate me a little bit more about systemic racism and everything that goes on in our country. So she had me watch, if you're not familiar with the movie or documentary on Netflix called The 13th, she sat me down and watched that. And The 13th is all about how it's how America basically took racism and slavery and turned it from, the big bad idea, and slightly, or not even slightly, but they eased their way into making the jail system and the incarceration system modern day slavery. For instance, they have prisoners working for less than $1 to manufacture products that big companies need, such as Victoria's Secret. Um, I was looking at a post the other day with a bunch of names. I can't remember them all right now. But it's just sickening to know that even though we fought so hard back then to abolish slavery, we only achieved it to a certain extent. And I felt really passionate about that idea because, as a black male, the world only wants me to be a statistic for the most part. And that's most of the time it's either dead or in jail, or the slight other statistic where it's actually successful. And I work my hardest to make sure that I'm going to be successful, because that's what I will be. And we're going to eradicate that system, because I feel like my generation personally is the generation of change. But that's a different topic. I don't have my copy of Charm with me at the moment, but I do have the poem on my phone. So let's get into it. Before I start, this isn't a poem, nor a story. This is a conversation between you and I. Now let's get started. America's 13th Amendment says that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for a crime where the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States. Long story short, no one can take your freedom unless you're put in jail. Now, America's 6th Amendment states that all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial. Now remember those. They'll come in handy later. In 1863, slavery was abolished, yet somehow here in 2017, it's bigger than ever. How, I imagine you ask? I'll be more than happy to tell you. Currently, about 2,220,300 people are imprisoned in America. Now here's where the Sixth Amendment comes into play. Many people in American jails are wrongly identified or mistakenly accused. Lots of these people don't have the money to go to trial. And guess where they end up? The slammer. Most people won't tell you what work in the federal prisons is like. It's not like you'd expect. Big companies that people like you and I buy items from have prisoners working for them, building, designing, packaging products. This is forced labor, kind of like slavery. And now you're probably wondering, like, whoa, wait a minute. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery. Yeah, it did. Slavery was run by middle-class Commonwealth type a long time ago, but it's run by the government now. America's leaders and masterminds run it all now. I'd like to welcome you to America, or as I like to call it, the land of loopholes. So I wrote wrote that poem back in 8th grade. I was just really emotional about the entire system and how sometimes it can be really overwhelming because it just feels like I'm set up to fail at all times. And I have to work twice as hard or harder just to get the same opportunities or get as far as some other people. And that's a really frustrating thing because at the end of the day, we're all just wishing for equality. But Land of Loopholes, it's one of my favorite poems. It was one of the poems I wrote before I went on a really dry love poem streak, but we're getting back into the political poems now. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll have another Throwback Thursday for you next week. See you.